Over the years, I've noticed something that quietly repeats itself. So many older adults come into the hospital because their joints hurt. Their knees, their hips, their shoulders, their lower back. We treat them. The pain eases. They walk better. They go home feeling hopeful again. And then, a few weeks later, sometimes a few months later, they come back. Not because the medication failed, not because the doctor made a mistake, but because life went back to normal. The same small habits, the same daily routines, the same ways of sitting, moving, eating, and resting. Habits that seem harmless, habits that don't hurt today, but over time, quietly, patiently, they wear the joints down. And that's what I want to talk with you about today. Not in a dramatic way, not to scare you, but to help you understand why joint degeneration so often keeps coming back, and how a few changes can slow it down far more than most people realize. Today, I want to share 7 everyday habits that many well-meaning people continue without knowing they are accelerating joint wear. And before we talk about those habits, we need to gently clear up one very common misunderstanding about how joints actually survive. Our joints are not like skin. When you cut your skin, it bleeds. Blood rushes in. Oxygen and nutrients arrive immediately to repair the damage. But cartilage, the smooth surface that cushions your joints, has no direct blood supply, no arteries, no veins. That surprises a lot of people. Instead, cartilage is nourished through a slow, quiet process called diffusion. Nutrients move into the joint only when the joint moves. When you bend, straighten, walk, or gently shift your weight, the joint compresses and releases, almost like a sponge. That movement pulls nutrients in and pushes waste products out. Researchers have shown that moderate, regular movement increases cartilage nutrition, while prolonged stillness does the opposite. In fact, studies from orthopedic and rheumatology journals consistently show that immobility accelerates cartilage thinning, especially in adults over 50. This is why joints that aren't used don't rest, they weaken. So when someone says, "My joints hurt, so I stopped moving," they're doing the most understandable thing, but also the most damaging thing in the long run. Less movement means poorer cartilage nutrition, weaker muscles around the joint, less stability, and faster degeneration, which is why, gently and carefully, movement becomes part of the treatment, not the enemy. And once we truly understand that, the habits we're about to talk about start to make a lot more sense. Habit number 1, stop moving because you're afraid of pain. One of the most common things I hear from older adults is this: "I stopped moving because I didn't want to make it worse." And I understand that fear. When your knee aches every time you stand up, when your back feels stiff the moment you wake up, your body sends a very clear message: protect yourself. So you sit more, you move less, you rest and rest and rest. At first it feels right. The pain seems quieter, but underneath that quiet, something else is happening. When movement stops, joints don't heal, they slowly starve. Large population studies in the US and Europe show that adults over 60 who reduce daily movement by even 20 to 30% experience faster cartilage thinning, weaker joint supporting muscles, and increased pain sensitivity within months. One landmark study published in Arthritis and Rheumatology found that light to moderate movement actually reduces joint inflammation, while prolonged inactivity increases stiffness and pain perception. Why? Because pain is not just about damage, it's also about circulation, muscle support, and nervous system sensitivity. When muscles around a joint weaken, especially the quadriceps around the knee and the glute muscles around the hip, The joint itself has to absorb more load. That extra load doesn't show up all at once. It shows up slowly, as morning stiffness that lasts longer, as swelling that appears more often, as pain that seems to come back for no clear reason. And here's the part many people don't realize. Pain-free movement does not mean pain never existed. It means the joint is being supported again. Clinical guidelines from the American College of Rheumatology now emphasize that gentle, regular movement is one of the strongest non-drug treatments for osteoarthritis. Not running marathons, not pushing through sharp pain, but simple things. Walking, slow strengthening, controlled range of motion exercises. Even 30 minutes a day, broken into small pieces, has been shown to improve joint function and reduce pain scores. Movement tells the joint, you're still needed, you're still alive. And when joints feel needed, they respond. So if you've been resting because you're afraid, I want you to hear this clearly. Resting is sometimes necessary, but stopping completely is not protection, it's surrender. And the good news is, your joints are far more forgiving than you think. They don't ask for intensity, they ask for consistency. And that's where real healing begins. Habit number 2, staying in one position for too long. There's another habit that quietly damages joints. And most people don't even notice they're doing it. It's not heavy labor. It's not a sports injury. It's staying still for too long, sitting in the same chair, driving for hours, leaning forward over a table, watching television without shifting your weight. Nothing dramatic happens in the moment, but joints were never designed for stillness. Research from the National Institute on Aging shows that prolonged sitting reduces blood flow to the lower spine and hips by up to 40% within an hour. And when circulation drops, joints stiffen, muscles tighten, and pain sensitivity increases. For older adults, this effect happens faster and lasts longer. That's why so many people say, I feel okay while I'm sitting, but the moment I stand up, everything hurts. What you're feeling isn't sudden damage, it's temporary joint dehydration. When joints stay compressed in one position, the fluid that normally lubricates them doesn't circulate. Think of it like oil settling at the bottom of an engine that hasn't been turned on. When you finally move again, the joint has to work before it's ready. Over time, this pattern creates a dangerous loop. Less movement, more stiffness, more pain, even less movement. Studies published in the Journal of Physical Activity and Health show that breaking up sitting time every 30 minutes significantly reduces joint stiffness and back pain, even if total exercise time stays the same. In other words, you don't have to work out harder. You just have to stop being still for too long. Small movements matter. Shifting your hips, standing up briefly, gentle rotations, a short walk to the window. These aren't exercises. They're reminders to your joints that they still belong to a living body. One of the most helpful tools many older adults use today isn't medication. It's a simple reminder, a watch, a timer, a habit that says it's time to move. Not because something is wrong, but because movement is how joints stay fed. And when joints are fed, they don't complain as loudly. They don't stiffen as quickly. They last longer. If habit number 1 was about fear, habit number 2 is about forgetting. Forgetting that stillness is not neutral. And remembering that motion, even gentle motion, is medicine. Habit number 3, using your back instead of your legs. There's a kind of damage that doesn't come from accidents. It comes from repetition, from the way we bend down to pick something up, from how we reach into a laundry basket, from leaning forward to tie a shoe, From lifting groceries day after day, year after year. Most people don't remember when their back started hurting. They just remember that one day it didn't stop. What's happening is not sudden injury, it's slow overload. Biomechanics research shows that when you bend forward from the waist, the pressure on the lumbar spine can increase by up to 10 times compared to standing upright. That means lifting a 10-pound object can place nearly 100 pounds of force on the lower back when done with poor posture. And as we age, spinal discs lose hydration and elasticity. They become less forgiving. So movements that once caused no trouble begin to leave a trace. A little stiffness in the morning, a sharp reminder when standing up, a dull ache that settles in and stays. The body was never designed to lift with the spine alone. It was designed to lift with the legs, with large muscles that can distribute force safely. Yet many older adults instinctively protect their knees by avoiding bending them. They keep their legs straight and sacrifice their back instead. Ironically, this often leads to more pain, not less. Studies from orthopedic rehabilitation programs show that teaching people to load the hips and legs instead of the spine significantly reduces chronic back pain within weeks, even without medication. The difference isn't strength, it's strategy. Lowering your center of gravity, letting the knees bend, keeping the spine long, not curved. These small adjustments reduce spinal stress and protect joints that have already carried you for decades. And here's something important. Pain doesn't mean your body's weak. It means it has been doing too much, for too long, in the wrong way. Once you give your joints better mechanics, they often respond with relief. Not overnight, but steadily, quietly, which is how real healing usually works. Habit number 4, eating in a way that quietly feeds inflammation. There's a kind of joint damage that doesn't come from movement. It comes from the table, not from one bad meal, not from a birthday dinner or a holiday treat, but from what we eat most days, often without thinking about it. Highly processed foods, fried foods, sugary snacks, excess salt, large portions of red meat. None of these cause pain immediately. That's why they're dangerous. Over time, these foods increase low-grade chronic inflammation, the kind that doesn't make you feel sick, but slowly changes how your joints behave. Medical research has shown that people with osteoarthritis often have elevated inflammatory markers in their blood, even when the joint damage itself looks mechanical. In other words, joint pain is not just about wear and tear, it's also about what's circulating in the bloodstream. Studies published in the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition show that diets high in refined carbohydrates and saturated fats increase levels of C-reactive protein, CRP, a key marker of inflammation linked to faster joint degeneration. Inflammation makes cartilage more fragile. It sensitizes pain receptors. It slows repair. That's why some people wake up feeling stiff for no obvious reason, or notice that their joints ache more after certain meals. The body remembers what we eat. On the other hand, research consistently shows that diets rich in vegetables, fruits, omega-3 rich fish, and adequate hydration can reduce inflammatory markers and improve joint comfort, even without weight loss. Omega-3 fatty acids in particular have been shown to reduce the production of inflammatory compounds involved in cartilage breakdown. This doesn't mean food is medicine in the dramatic sense. It means food is information. Every meal sends a message, either calm down or stay inflamed. And joints listen very carefully. Many older adults say, "I eat fine, I don't overeat." But inflammation isn't about quantity alone. It's about quality and consistency. A body that has lived 60 or 70 years doesn't need extremes. It needs fewer irritants and more nourishment. When inflammation quiets down, pain often follows. Not instantly, but gently, which is exactly how healing prefers to work. Habit number 5, assuming your joints can still repair themselves. There's a quiet belief many people carry into their 50s and 60s. I eat normally, I'm not malnourished, my body will take care of itself. And for many years that was true, but joints age differently than the rest of the body. By the time we reach our 40s, the body's ability to produce key joint-building compounds begins to decline. Slowly at first, then more noticeably. One of the most important of these is glucosamine, a natural component used to build and maintain cartilage. Multiple metabolic studies show that endogenous glucosamine production decreases significantly after age 40. By the time many people reach their 60s, cartilage repair happens at only a fraction of its former rate. That doesn't mean joints suddenly fail. It means small damage that once healed quietly now stays. Cartilage becomes thinner. Joint surfaces lose resilience. Movement feels less forgiving. And here's the part that confuses many people. Calcium is essential, but calcium supports bone, not cartilage. Strong bones without healthy cartilage can still move painfully. Cartilage relies on a different nutritional conversation: glucosamine, chondroitin, and type 2 collagen, the specific form found in joint tissue. Research published in the Journal of Aging and Clinical Medicine shows that adults over 50 who maintain adequate levels of these compounds experience slower cartilage degradation and improved joint comfort compared to those who rely on diet alone. Food does contain small amounts of these nutrients, but often not enough to meet the body's aging needs. This is not about chasing supplements, it's about understanding biology. A 25-year-old body repairs damage quickly. A 65-year-old body repairs damage carefully and needs more support. Ignoring that shift doesn't make it disappear. It simply widens the gap between wear and repair. And when repair falls behind for long enough, pain steps in to get your attention, not as punishment, but as information. Information that the joint needs help. Not just rest, not just medication, but proper structural nourishment. When joints are given the raw materials they need, they often surprise us. Stiffness softens, movement becomes easier, confidence returns, quietly. Because real support doesn't shout, it sustains. Habit number 6, relying on pain medication is a long-term solution. There is a moment many people recognize. You take a pill, and within an hour the pain softens. You stand up more easily. You move with less resistance. You feel relieved, and relief feels like healing. But relief and healing are not the same thing. Most commonly used pain medications for joint pain, especially non-steroidal anti-inflammatory drugs, work by blocking pain signals and reducing inflammation temporarily. They do not rebuild cartilage. They do not strengthen muscles. They do not correct joint mechanics. They simply quiet the alarm. Large observational studies have shown that long-term, frequent use of common pain relievers is associated with increased risk of stomach ulcers and gastrointestinal bleeding, higher blood pressure, kidney stress, especially in adults over 60. In fact, research published in the British Medical Journal found that older adults using daily NSAIDs had a significantly higher risk of serious gastrointestinal complications, even when taken exactly as prescribed. What makes this difficult is that pain relief can be deceptive. When pain is muted, people often move more, but with the same harmful habits still in place, the joint continues to wear down quietly while the warning system is turned off. And eventually, some people reach a point where the medication no longer works as well or can no longer be taken safely. I've seen patients who were still in pain, but could no longer take pain medication at all. That moment is frightening because it reveals a hard truth. Painkillers were never meant to be a foundation. They were meant to be a bridge, a short-term tool to help you move while deeper changes take place. Movement patterns, muscle strength, inflammation control, joint nourishment. When medication becomes the main strategy, the body's message gets delayed, not resolved. Pain, uncomfortable as it is, often carries useful information. It tells us when load is too high, when support is missing, when inflammation is quietly building. Silencing that message without listening to it comes with a cost. And for aging joints, that cost is often paid slowly and later. The goal is not to suffer. The goal is to depend less over time. When pain medication is used wisely as part of a broader plan, it can be helpful. But when it becomes the plan, healing tends to stall because joints don't heal by being silenced. They heal by being supported. Habit number 7, trusting miracle remedies that promise fast relief. There is something deeply human about wanting quick relief. When pain has followed you for months, when stiffness greets you every morning, when walking feels heavier than it used to, and then someone says, "This worked immediately for me. No side effects. All natural." It's tempting, especially when the pain feels relentless and patience is running thin. Many of these remedies, herbal pills, powders, injections, creams, promise what medicine often cannot. Fast relief without effort, and sometimes they deliver. The pain fades quickly. Movement feels easier. Hope returns. But here's what experience has taught us again and again. Relief that comes too fast often comes at a hidden cost. In clinical practice, doctors around the world have documented cases where so-called natural or traditional remedies were quietly mixed with powerful corticosteroids, substances that dramatically reduce inflammation and pain in the short term. These drugs are effective. That's why doctors use them carefully. But when taken unknowingly, repeatedly, or long-term, they can cause serious harm. Bone thinning, muscle wasting, increased blood pressure, blood sugar imbalance, fragile skin, suppressed immune function. In older adults, these effects are magnified. The most dangerous part is not the medication itself. It's the lack of transparency. People don't know what they're taking. They don't know the dose. They don't know how long it stays in the body. And when the pain returns, as it often does, they take more. At that point, the joint hasn't healed. It's simply been silenced, and the body quietly pays the price. True healing rarely feels dramatic. It feels gradual, subtle, almost boring at times, but it is safe, and it lasts. That's why caution matters, especially now. A body that has carried you through decades deserves clarity, not shortcuts. If something sounds too good to be true, if it promises instant relief without addressing movement, strength, nutrition, or habits, pause. Not because hope is wrong, but because your joints don't need miracles. They need honesty, consistency, support. And when you give them that, they often respond. Not overnight, but in a way that endures. If there's one thing I hope you take from today, it's this. Joint pain is rarely just about age. It's about accumulation. Small habits, repeated quietly. Movements done the same way for years. Meals chosen without much thought. Relief sought a little too quickly. None of these are mistakes. They're simply human. But over time, they shape how the body feels. The good news, and there really is good news, is that the same quiet process works in reverse. When you move a little more, when you shift positions instead of staying still, when you lift with awareness, when you calm inflammation instead of feeding it, when you nourish joints instead of just numbing them, the body notices. Not all at once, not dramatically, but steadily. Joints don't ask for perfection, they ask for respect. They've carried you through decades of walking, working, caring, and living. They don't need to be fixed. They need to be supported, and support doesn't come from one pill, one product, or one promise. It comes from understanding how your body actually works and choosing gently and consistently to work with it. If your joints have been whispering or even shouting lately, this isn't the end of movement. It's the beginning of moving differently, with more awareness, more patience, and a little more kindness toward the body that's been with you all along. If this conversation felt helpful, feel free to stay with us. There's more to explore, one gentle step at a time.